This morning was a much shorter session than what I had been doing, certainly the past few days, and in reality, even these past few weeks. I put in maybe about 30 minutes in total into my session, and I wrapped it up right there. The reason for this wasn't any kind of writer's block or anything of that sort. Uh, I've actually been starting off pretty well. The first few edits of this final draft of the story went quite well. Things have been going along quite swimmingly. It was more so that I had other things going on today. I'd gotten back rather early from the wedding the night before, so got back to the house rather early. And in truth, I've spent a fair amount of time these past month and a half or so just writing, just focusing on my craft. You guys saw the videos where I was, reading on my basically all my free time. I was doing a lot of reading, trying to get to that slump, and there was a lot of things that I've been putting off as of late. Most of it is just small obligations, small chores, small things to be done around the house now that the spring is here. Everything from like kind of just basic lawn work to more things about like tidying up and all that stuff. Just things I'd pushed off. And even bigger than that, obviously, was me pushing off certain other avenues of life, especially, again, I talked before basically about how I haven't been able to really train it a lot, so pushing off a lot of my gym sessions. Other things, too, that I have been kind of putting aside that today I decided to basically jump back into to kind of tackle those things. It's not a bad thing to throw yourself into your work. If you're going after something that is basically your passion, your love, you've got to do it. Especially in I think short sprints like that. I think it's a very, very good thing to do. Yes, you can certainly lose yourself in that process there, but if you can do it for short sprints, I don't see much wrong with that. People, when they do certain writing ventures like NaNoWriMo, just as an example, will often talk about how, to hit their 1,500 words a day, they put off everything. They don't do their, like the dishes pile up in the sink, their floors go unvacuumed because they're spending all this time writing, just to hit their 1,500 words a day. And that, hey, when November's over and December comes around, that's when I'll get back to kind of getting back to my life. And I find that with myself, I tend to go through a similar process where there are time periods, usually several weeks, where I just don't get around to a lot of the obligations in life, and I just go head first into my projects. When you're on fire, when everything is clicking creatively, I think you have to just run with it. Again, it's I use the analogy of fishing a lot when it comes to the muse and getting those big moments where you got to show up at the pond every day, cast your line, and maybe you catch the fish today, maybe you don't, but you have to just cast your line to take a chance on it. It's not always the best analogy. I think a lot of it is maybe more like catching a subway, right? When the subway's coming, you got to get on, you got to ride, and you got to stay on till you get off of your destination. So when you're, when that subway comes, get on it, ride it until the end of the line, whatever that line might be, and then get off and await for your next one to show up at that station, and then get on it again. And for me, that's what I've been doing, and I've been very, very fortunate that I've been able to get to this position here. I don't know if this is a lot of work. I don't know if at the end of this, having three short stories done in I don't know, not even 6, maybe 5 months, something like that. I don't know if that's a big deal. I don't know if that's a worthwhile achievement or if that's pretty mediocre. I can't tell. But for me, that's really, really productive. The fact that I've been at this, the fact that I've a couple of stories that I'm very proud of. I'm proud of their quality and what they are doing. I'm extremely proud of that. So for me, when the moment came to go after this stuff, I had to push other things aside, and now it's time to catch up a little bit. So most of today is going to be just catch up. In fact, probably next few days is going to be a lot of catch up. Lot of side obligations coming up this week that are just going to make these writing sessions a little bit shorter. Hoping that it's only probably a week of catching up on these things, but they'll go away. They'll go away, and I'll have more of my time again, and then we'll get back to more of this, more of the writing. I'm hoping to maybe still get my 90-minute sessions in, maybe. Realistically, probably not. We're probably looking at maybe more like 30-minute sessions again, and a week or so 30-minute sessions, there's nothing wrong with that. You'll get very, very far, especially in the editing phase. That's certainly fine. You're gonna, the work will be there to be revised. It's not like first drafting where you can kind of lose that feeling, that momentum, that when things are clicking, you kind of want to keep going and get that draft done just because, like, you're in the moment. And when the muse is firing, if you can get a good first draft, it's like it sets everything else up for success later on. With revising, I don't usually get that. With revising, I usually will get the, I can show up for a half hour, do edits, then come back, day later and do half hour, and I haven't really lost anything. There's no momentum to keep. There's no, as Hemingway said, there's nothing to stay drunk on. You don't have to keep your that uber writing focused. You can sort of come back to it and leave it as you go, and you can still make a lot of progress because it's very scientific. It's not very artsy. Editing is very methodical, and with things that are methodical, you don't need to worry too much about that sort of sensations of momentum and keeping a good pace and all that stuff. You can just show up and leave as you go. So I'll be signing off here. I will see you all tomorrow, and thank you again for checking this out.